morning. Hi. How many read the case study? Raise your hands. Okay, almost everybody. That's good. Congratulations. So today's case study is about Transmilenio, and actually it's not part of the PPP financing module that you see in your binders, but rather of the next module, which is the analysis of alternatives. So after lunch, Sam will give you a presentation of everything you have to consider. But for today's case study, we will analyze a very, very interesting case of one of the world's most famous BRTs, Transmilenio in Colombia. This will be a particularly interesting case study because we won't analyze a project or a plan, but rather something that is already ongoing, and we need to decide how do we continue. So that will be the decision. So it's a decision of adding a corridor called Avenida Séptima, which I don't know how many of you know Bogota, the capital of Colombia, but this is parallel to one of the first corridors of Transmilenio, which is Caracas. And it's important. It's not just another street because it's a very congested street, Avenida Séptima, and it will help the system to improve. So it's a major decision that the mayor, Garzón, has to take. So the situation is that the mayor is ending his period. He cannot be re-elected, and the candidate from his political party is not a supporter of BRT, of Transmilenio. He's a supporter of the metro. And rather, the opponent, which is Peñalosa, which initiated all the process, wants to continue with BRT. And he has to decide what to do. So I want us to play a game where you are the advisors of Mayor Garzón, and you need to tell him your opinion on how should he proceed. Okay? So the plan of this case study is that we will analyze phase 1, then phase 2, and then we will analyze phase 3, and you will tell me, I will be the mayor, how to proceed. Okay? Okay, let's get started. So Transmilenio is a project that is designed in phases. So you have phase 1, phase 2, and many other phases until the original project says 2016 with around 400 kilometers of dedicated trunk lanes. So let's analyze phase 1. So who can tell me, how does phase 1 deserve its good reputation or not? How did it go? Who wants to start? Sorry? Why?
Initially, it was well received by the people. It was well executed. And the bus system, they put together with the private bus operator. The first phase, in fact, they have removed the private bus operator altogether.
Okay.
And improved everything, like time, travel time, speed of the buses, the air quality, everything improved.
Okay, let's go by part. So you say first, by what you're saying, it was according to plan. So people were moving, right? So first, what's most important, it worked. It moved people. What's the other element you said? The other benefit?
Average bus speed increased from 12 to 16.
Okay, speed.
26 kilometers.
And wait, let's go point by point. Why is increase of speed important? Wait, let's stick to speed. Why is it important?
Because of the dedicated saves time on the travel
Time.
Travel time save.
So this. And what's the tangible effect of this?
Well, we should reduce time saving in terms of man-hours saving.
Of?
Man-hours congestion, cost reduction.
Okay. So this is an important element of the project, right?
That's about the accident
Okay.
and requirements of action mark, change emission,
Safety, accident.
and the emission, environment.
Okay.
And robot the value increase.
Sorry?
Cost, the economic cost.
Okay.
Last you and the robot the cost increase.
Okay. What happened with the city? Was this just a trunk line? We'll go into that later. No, we'll go to that later. So what happened with the city?
Property values increase.
The?
Property values.
Okay. And why? Why did property values increase? And what else?
So any commercial property there will get
Okay.
more consumers, more customers.
Okay. So we could say that the project was associated to urban and commercial development, right?
System became self-sustained as it does not require any subsidy from the government.
Okay, that's an important point. So it was, from a financial point, it was financially
Self-sustained.
sustainable. Why is that important? Who's worried about that? Of the actors that you have, who's
Government need not to pay any subsidy.
government? What else? Why is this also important? To who affects this?
General public also because it is to be paid by the general public, if the subsidy is to be paid
Okay.
and directly it is the public need to support.
Okay. What was the cost of this system per kilometer?
Yeah, that's
What was it? Do you remember the figure? What was the figure? Exactly. Is that high? Is that low? Is that average? Low? What when you say low, what do you compare it to? We will come to subsequent phases later. To rail and to metro. What are the orders of magnitude? For the same amount of the same capacity of passengers that you're moving. But per kilometer. Okay. Okay. So if you see Exhibit 12 in the handout, you'll see that as a first approximation, when you need to decide on what to choose, first you need to know how many people you want to move, and then what are the options and what are the costs, right? So looking at Exhibit 12, I think this BRT was a pretty good solution, right? How many people was it moving, approximately?
30 to 40,000, some are 20,000, but still $5 million you can move $30 to $40,000. Whereas metro can move 80,000 people, but the cost is about $60 million. So cost effective, very cost.
Okay, so this leads us to an important point in the discussion. So, an important point in discussion in Bogota, because the metro was proposed for the first time maybe around 60 years ago in Bogota. Before even the concept of BRT was designed or imagined by Jaime Lerner in Curitiba, remember? But why was, and you had maybe 5, 10, 20 metro projects in Bogota, but none of them were implemented because cost. A perception that the cost was too high, right?
Since 1947 onwards.
Right, exactly. So metro was always in the minds of the people of Bogota as a good solution, but they said we cannot afford it. Too costly, exactly. So we have seen a mixture there of technical elements, for example, that the system worked. That's the first thing you demand of a system. The speeds were okay, so that meant reduction of times, so that's more money in the pockets of people. Congestion, you have a good impact in safety, so this is reduction of waiting times, that's a good one. Well, let's put it here. So it worked, speed, less, so that means more money, congestion, less congestion I mean. It went well in safety and in accidents and good for environment. It spurred urban and commercial development. It was financially sustainable, so that no subsidies at a reasonably low cost. It had a reduction of waiting times. So these are financial, technical aspects of the decision of the project, right? What are we missing? What happened with the incumbent operators, the owners of the buses, the drivers? What happened there?
They were involved in this process. They were offered that if you replace your vehicle, you will be also you can also operate from BRT. But first you replace your old vehicle so that there is no such accident or the fuel wastage is not there. So they were involved in it. And this was the reason that there was no resistance from those people.
Okay.
For instance, the replacement ratio was 3:1.
Yeah.
What was the problem?
So they were offered this incentive.
And the old buses, they started flying in other areas.
Other area called because
Unregulated.
Yeah, so remember that one of the conditions or the design features of the project was that the new system would operate in trunk lines, and there will be no competition from the past operators, right?
There was competition. Outside.
Where?
Outside. No, here also there was competition.
In phase one?
Yeah. No, phase two.
No, we're talking about phase one. Not so fast. Phase one. So we didn't have competition in the trunk lines, but what happened with some of the incumbent operators which did not scrap all of the buses?
They went and choked up other areas.
Other areas, and what happened there? Congestion, right?
That was the natural reason.
And so we have talked about the operators. What happened with the drivers?
They have to be hired through the formal contract so that they can get the social security and other benefited.
Right. So before, they worked in what conditions, and what conditions are they working now? How are the conditions before for the drivers?
It was like a penny ward kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
They were running to take the passenger. They used to drop the passenger wherever they live.
Did they have,
A lot of accidents also, breakdowns.
right, and in the new setting, how was it? More systematic. They had contracts. They had social security benefits. So this is a very important element that in some systems they don't take into proper consideration, which is how do you deal with the incumbents? And the incumbents can be, in this case, the previous operators and the drivers. In other cases, it can be certain interest groups that will be affected. So Transmilenio in phase 1 did a really good job in working with the incumbents. They made all the efforts to incorporate them to the system, so they would have them as allies and not as enemies, right? So here in the incumbents, I would say the operators. And the drivers. So we've seen we did pretty well here, but there was one drawback that you mentioned, which was that not all the buses of the old buses were taken out and scrapped. They went to the other parts of the system that was not yet changed, and there is congestion. So
They oversaturated the area where the buses are not.
right. So. So, let's vote. So we have a system, phase 1, that, according to what we see here, is doing great, right? We went according to plan. We get everybody on board. The system is working. We have environmental benefits, financial benefits. It's a low cost. So how about if we vote? So we are now, we need to tell the mayor, yes, you should go with the BRT, because we showed that in the past we could do it and we could do it again. So it's full of positive things, and there's some problems, but don't worry, we can do it. So how many of you say, let's go for BRT in Avenida Septima? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And who says no? 1, 2. Are you voting double? Twice or no? Okay. 2, 3. Okay, 3 say no. There's some that are too shy yet. This is Avenida Septima. You're telling the mayor you should go for the BRT because we know we can do it, or you're saying no, we should do something else. So 10 to 3.
We're talking about the third. Which one? Phase 1 to phase 2?
Phase 3 for the future.
Phase 3, no.
For future, no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's leave it like this. Okay. Now let's analyze phase 2. So who can tell me what happened in phase 2?
Cost of construction has gone up by 3 times.
Okay.
Construction has gone up by more than 15 million, about 3 times the cost of the phase 1.
Okay. Let me write that down because that's an important factor. We've seen that for the Bogotanos, cost is a really important measure for decision of project. So here, cost times 2, and actually in some of the corridors, it's almost 4 times, like in NAQS. And why is that important?
Because it is important that if we won't consider this and we won't learn the lesson, then it is going to create problems.
Yeah, but we can repair. We learned the case study says that they repaired it, right? But what is so problem with the pavement? But what is the real issue there?
In the long run, it is going to affect your operation of the remaining areas because if the slab and the pavement are defective, it's going to affect the performance of your vehicle.
Okay, performance. That is true, but they repaired it, and they learned the lessons. So this decreases performance. But what is? Let me give you a hint. What is the public perception here of the system? Good. Perception, very good. They even made surveys, right? And everything started perfect. So when you see that such a great system, oops, we have some cracks. Huh?
Cracks, yes.
What-
2.5 million expenditure.
Yeah. Yeah, but 2.5 in a whatever, in a 300, 400 million dollar projects is not important in terms of cost.
So there was a corruption allegation.
Sorry?
There was an allegation of corruption.
Could be. Could be. Later, remind me, I'll tell you a story at the end of what happened with the mayor.
You will tell.
I will tell, but you remind me. So,
Public perception went down.
perception, right? So we have a problem in perception because this shiny new project,
Support.
oops, is showing some cracks.
Winning away.
Yeah, so perception. Never underestimate public perception when you're going with a big project. It can put you up or it can get you down. We will come back to this. So what else happened? What were other problems of phase two?
Disagreement with the incumbents. Disagreement with incumbents.
Okay. Tell me more about that. What happened?
Saturation of bus routes.
But let's go to his point, which is very important. What happened with the incumbents?
Yeah, they did not agree to replace 7:1 kind of arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them did not come into this fold at all. They were still operating their own buses. So there was a parallel operation ultimately created for the phase two.
So in the same trunk lines,
No, the trunk.
you have Transmilenio buses
Yes.
and you have the other buses.
Yes,
and-
fares were competitive.
There was a competition.
We will come to that. We'll come to that. That's important. That's related, but this is important. And why is that important? What was the original design of the system? That you wouldn't have competition, right?
Yeah.
So and now you're having competition. And what's the effect of that?
The services are not coordinated, and there could be fare differences, charge differences.
There were fare differences. There were-
That's what I'm saying. There could be fare differences. They were charging less and they were charging more.
But what happens with the operation of the system when you're designing a frequency of whatever, of four buses per hour?
They don't fit into this.
They don't fit because you have more congestion. You cannot
More
you,
congestion.
you cannot comply with your
They cannot be
times.
longer.
Right, right. And what does that? What's the physical impact of that?
Then the efficiency would be questioned.
Yeah, but when you say efficiency, you're a user. Remember, when you're designing a system, who do you have to have in mind? Who are you doing this project for? Are you doing it for your president, your minister, your people? At the end, what happens with the people will come through votes into the higher people. So, yes.
Here the end user is the person who is commuting, who is using this transport,
Mm-hmm.
who we are representing him, you may say.
Exactly. So we have here competition, which affects frequencies. It affects the financial part of the system, right? Because you're not getting as many passengers and as much money as you thought. So you also mentioned the problem with fares. What was the ratio in 2007 of the fares of Transmilenio and of the traditional buses? 20, and why was that? Why wasn't there an equal raise in fares between both of them? No? No? What else? There was a deal. There was an agreement. What did the government say that...
The water operators, if they renew their buses,
exactly.
fare will be increased. They didn't renew, so government decided to push the
Exactly. So you have, from one part, the traditional operators that want fare increase, but to get that, they need to renew their fleets, but they're not doing it, so the government says no. And on the other part, you have a design of the system of Transmilenio, which says that it must be financially sustainable. You have to cover all your operating costs, so you're rising your fares. So you have, in one part, what you said, you have competition in the same line, in the same roads. And you have one that is 20 to 30% higher, as you said, and the other one is the old bus. So what does the user do? Goes to the old bus. And what's the impact of that?
Go to the old bus. Cheaper.
Yeah, it's cheaper, so that's why he chooses it. But what?
Cheaper and frequent also.
Okay, so he chooses the old bus. You have less passengers in your new system,
No,
No, and performance going down slowly.
and you have to do changes because you need to to balance. So you lower the frequencies, right? And what does that create?
more waiting period.
More waiting period, overcrowding. Right. So this fair and balance is quite important, given what you just said of competition. So you have overcrowding. Do you remember the surveys that they did? What did the surveys tell you about the system?
40% is now coming down passengers per.
No, the user perception surveys. What did they say? Not the how many people were riding. Were the people happier with the system as time went by?
It went down 1.3. It's equal to the private operators. The perception changed dramatically.
Okay, and what were the two main problems that the people saw or felt? Not saw, felt. They felt them by themselves.
Not problem, it publicized when the phase 2 was introduced.
But that's another issue.
It messed up with the passenger information system.
But that's another issue. What the surveys were very clear on what were the two main problems that they felt.
This is bus loading and the overall travel time increased because of the load from the new routes. So some stations gave way. This is the main reason.
What's the effect of that? If you're a passenger and you're there,
Because of that travel time increase.
okay, travel times, but the survey said two things: overcrowding and crimes. Exactly, because when you're in the bus stop and you're overcrowded, you're a very easy victim of pickpockets, right? And Colombians are not Koreans, so they take advantage of every situation, and that's exactly what happened: overcrowding and crimes. What else happened? Remember, we are in a system that is designed in phases. We started with 3 corridors. Phase 2 added 3 more. So now this very simple system with 3 lines is now 6. So what happened in terms of operation? Wait, one at a time.
It becomes complicated.
Okay, yeah, but you can handle complications.
No, it wasn't smooth.
Okay, that's the issue.
It wasn't smooth.
Why?
Changing was not smooth. From one line to another, the connectivity was not smooth.
Okay,
People didn't understand how to get
exactly.
system information system.
Exactly. So this very ordered plan that they had devised, when they actually implemented it, it started to have some operational problems and challenges that they couldn't manage quite well.
And the firm which was taking their communication, that also gave left this particular project. So all the communications failed.
I wouldn't say all, but yeah, there were problems.
So I think it's try to also to show the problem of the capacity of the transportation.
That's a very important point.
overall, and if module and the transportation capacity overall, it also coupled with the operation system. Many delay and people become more complaint about the railway system.
Exactly. So that's what we were referring to before. Here overcrowding, but we can also put here to make it clear. So it's reaching its limits, right? So we go back to the decision, the first question. Should we or should we not do Septima? Because Septima goes parallel to Caracas, which has the most serious congestion problem and capacity problem, and Septima will help relieve this. So that's a very important point that you brought up. What happened? Some of you also already mentioned this. What happened with the users, with the communications to the users?
They didn't follow what the change, the map was complicated. So the people were unhappy.
Its reliability was reduced because of that communication from left we contract in 2006. And this is the reason it reduced the reliability of the system.
That's related, but it's a different issue. So we have communications here with the users. How important is the communications of a project to the users? Okay, but is communications a minor element of your project? And maybe most of you, how many of you are engineers? Raise up your hands. How many of you are you engineers? Okay. How many of you are from the social sciences? 2. Okay. How many of you are economists? Okay, you double counting there, but okay. Okay, so we have a mixture. So I'm an engineer, and we usually, by professional deformation, tend to just focus on technical aspects. But when you're a politician, when you're a mayor, and you have to take a decision, these communication aspects, these social aspects, are quite important.
Next election's perspective.
Exactly. And here, there's one, I don't know how you say it in English. English is not my native language. There is no small opposition to projects. I don't know if you've seen these pictures of a major development of a road, which has to make a really small turn and a deviation, continue, and there's a small house there. Have you seen it? That's maybe one lady that won't leave and says no, and it changes your complete project. Your 1 billion project will be changed, and sometimes cannot be made due to one lady. In the case of Transmilenio, there was one small, really small NGO that filed complaints against United Nations, against other institutions. And there was a whole political battle there of how to proceed due to one small. So never underestimate.
What did they say? What was the complaint?
This case study is 1 hour and a half, and I have less than 1 hour to do it. So we can go into the details later. But the concept that I want you to remember, that there's no small opposition to major projects. Even one small lady, I don't say that she's not important, but one person can tumble your project. Yes. Yes. So let's. And let's write down what you said, problems with the control center. So, So how would we rate phase 2? How did it go? What was the user perception? A lot of problems. Was there anything positive here? Right. Right. So what happened with user perception here? Poor, right? So, and what is the main difference here? There are many differences. But who was the champion of phase 1? Enrique Peñalosa. He was the champion. So. No problem. Who was the champion of phase 2? Sorry? Mocus. What? Was he a strong champion?
No, he was not.
Weak. He was praised at the beginning of his period as, yeah, you're a supporter of BRT, which is going so well. But then the operation problems, and he didn't manage very well, right? So here we have a champion. And here, maybe Garzón, but with a question mark, right? Because he was so-so. Yeah. So let's vote again. Again, we are in the decision of phase 3. So who says yes? We should build a BRT in Avenida Septima. Raise your hands. The question is, Mayor Garzón has to decide to continue with the project and assign the contracts for Avenida Septima, locking in the future of BRTs without waiting for his successor to be elected, or he says no. So who says yes, we should build BRT in Avenida Septima? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Who says no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What are, you're more people here. Come on, come on. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
You know, first time, in the first phase, there was a thing which was not disclosed. Now,
Okay.
because of that resistance is there.
We're playing. We're playing. Don't worry. Okay, so maybe 8. So how many said no? Again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 7. There's a floating population of this room that disappears and comes in. Okay, so let's move on to phase 3. So, again, to remind you, phase 3 involves the construction of actually 3 corridors, Avenida 10, 26, and Avenida Septima. Mayor Garzón is leaving. He cannot be re-elected. The candidate from his party says, no BRT. I want to build a metro in Avenida Septima. And his opponent, Peñalosa, which was the previous champion, phase 1, says, no, we have to continue with the BRT. And Garzón is in a very difficult position because as a political person, he says, I want my party to continue in power. But if I continue with this decision, I will go against my candidate. And if I favor the other one, I'll go with the opponent. So it's not an easy decision. And actually, the decision is not a BRT or a metro in Avenida Septima. It's rather continue with the project or do something else, right? But the public opinion said, focused everything on metro yes or no in Avenida Septima. And that's another element that you always have to be aware of, is that what was the original plan, what you proposed, can be distorted in the public communications, the public arguments, and you have interest groups, and you have to manage that. So a debate that was on one thing turned out to be a very small, or not small, but very focused debate on metro, yes or no, or BRT for Avenida Septima. So, you're the advisors to the mayor. I'm the mayor, Garzon. You're my advisors. So, what elements would you consider here? What's on the table?
I think, in this study, there's still not enough information about the physical design, because this only talk about the very narrow or technical session. Very different when you congestion if you conduct the BRT line in phase 3. But the information not enough about, first of all, in this map, it not show the phase 3 line. It is very critical, because if you are mayor, if I am the advisor to you, there are two options. Option 1, if the phase 2 problem can be recovered and phase 3 design is necessary and effectiveness, I will advise you continue phase 3 and make a big reform assistance system. So you can talk with the people. What for me, I will make a big reform the system, and all the problem will be overcome. We go to the new period, the new development area with the new BRT system, the excellent system, and we have the phase 3. Together, phase 1 and phase 2 reform. That's option 1, and you will win the champion of the phase 3 and the new area of the BRT system. But option 2, if phase 3 cannot feasibility about the technical and the problem in phase 2 cannot overcome, in that case, I advise you go to the option 2, that two actions. We continue reform the BRT system, but you talk with the people. Okay, let's finish this period. Now we together move to the new area, the metro line. That's in the new development, the new future. Because the system BRT is overlost. So now let's go with me. We together to build the future, the metro.
Okay.
So people will vote for you.
Okay.
But we need more information before.
Tell me, you're a very experienced man. Do you always have all the information you need to take a decision? Never.
Never, but
Never.
we need the fundamental.
Yes.
Physical.
Yes.
Not 100%, but we need it.
What does the rest of my advisors think about that? Sorry? It's enough? We'll vote at the end. But so he says that he has enough information to take the decision. But on the options, what does the rest? What does the rest mean? Let me get the feeling of the rest of my advisors.
Enough information to
Yeah, but on the options he mentioned.
The population of the city alone suggests that we should go for a
We should go for a metro here. What? Because of the population. And cost? It's around 5 or more times, but who knows? What does the rest think about that?
to start with the metro.
Okay, another metro candidate here. So, more opinions.
Then in phase 3, the expected passenger is 20,000 passengers because of some education institution and other things. Only a position is the residents, whereas another restriction which was being told is the width of the road. There is a cross section which has been given in the photograph,
Yes.
which clearly shows that 28 meter is required. If it is 23 meter, we can compromise in certain pockets, not near the bus stop where BRT is to change its thing. If this area is very rich and the associations are pressing, because of those people, I cannot compromise on that issue and I will go for BRT.
Okay. BRT here.
One thing, the biggest stumbling block in phase 3 is that road doesn't have space to provide BRT.
Okay.
We need to occupy a second lane. That makes it even more tougher to have a BRT. Half the cities in the world have the same problem.
Okay.
And they can't implement only because there's no road space. And Septima seems to be having the same.
So what do you advise me?
No more BRT.
No more BRT. What can we do?
Okay, I'm not saying I'll go for metro. I'm just saying
You're my advisor. I pay you to tell me what to do. You cannot tell me I don't know.
come up with something else.
Okay, that's an important point. Monorail. That's an important point. We have been turning around on a limited set of options that I in intention, I put in your minds. So tell me, is that something of your daily lives when they tell you, look, we have option A and option B, and you tell me what's the best one? I remind you, this case study is part of the alternatives analysis. So when you just focus on two or a limited set without thinking out of the box, then you might make a really bad decision because you go into maybe a local optimum, but you don't consider all the elements. So that's one very important lesson of this case study. And which is actually quite common, right? Quite common. So
There are 4 information we need more before I advise you. One and two. Information number 1, that is the feasibility technical of the phase 3 and its effect.
there's already a feasibility study on that. It tells you that there's not enough space.
Information number 2 about the metro option. That is about the cost, about the operation, about the time, and about the effectiveness. Because it takes time, it's also information number 3 about the public relation and public action. Because between the BRT phase 3 and metro line, if more negative affect people, we should make the survey and evaluation about the public relation. And information number 4, I tell you that on the regular in phase 2, BRT, can we find a solution over time. So if we have enough for information like that, I can sure advise you which option is the best.
Okay, tomorrow bring me all that information and we'll make a vote.
I think also
Yes.
one issue that comes out is that
No, it was a good point. I was just joking.
One issue that comes out is that the debate is about taking one route, and once you take one route, you can't take the other. And yet I would expect that the best solution would be a solution that involves different types of interventions to solve the problem. But it seems like people once they take this direction, they don't want anything to do with anything else.
Exactly.
And I don't think that is the way to approach this.
Exactly. So can you tell me, for example, a case where in your work you were in this dilemma where you had these restricted set of options and you had to decide what did you do? Have you been in this situation before?
I think, I mean, I can't come up with a given example of it, but that the public usually wants to drive me in that direction because it is the easier way to think about it. You have one solution to every problem that you have. But as professionals, you want to broaden it, and basically it's more complex than that.
Somebody else want to share when they have been in this situation? Nobody ever has had to decide on options? Nobody in your whole life?
We have to decide for Chandigarh in India.
What happened?
We decided for metro, but I still think it's not viable there. We've decided metro.
Uh-huh.
We've decided metro.
Ridership is less.
Ridership is less.
Yeah, we saw the case with the OP yesterday, right?
Similar case was there for Jaipur also. They were already having a BRT,
Mm-hmm.
but later on a proposal, some minister said that he's proposing metro and the metro will come. In one of his speeches. So the people sent a proposal for metro also, and the ridership was so high in that feasibility report. that we have
Please,
to-
let's hear what she's saying, please.
that we have to call the consultants and ask them that how did you do this calculation of ridership, because in another report for BRT it was very less. So they themselves said that it has been made up to that number. It's not actually for the metro.
It happens.
Yeah,
It happens.
and they proposed BRT and metro on the same corridors. Later on, then the metro is coming, so BRT has to be removed from that corridor.
Okay, so yes.
My friend told that we don't have enough information to take a decision. And in fact, actually the system works as if we take a decision on the system for which we don't have any information. Actually, we do that.
Okay, so on your last point, okay, we don't have enough information, and we have to vote now. So this is the final vote. So who says yes?
Then we don't have enough information.
We never have enough information.
What my girl also when we marry.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so who says yes to Avenida Septima? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we went back to number 1. Who says no? Everybody vote now. 1, 2, 3. Come on, 4, 5. Some of you haven't voted. Come on. No excuses. You have to vote. 2 votes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sam says no there with his hand. Okay. Okay, no, we have to wrap up. So here we were in a situation with not enough information, which is always. But for alternatives analysis, we were pressed by a very successful first phase, by a not so successful second phase. So the system was victim of a success, but we had to go on. We had to take a difficult decision where, as we learned now, we have to consider all options. Sometimes they will restrict the options to just 2 or 3, and really the debate is not that. You need to consider all the elements. We've seen technical considerations, financial, social, you name it. There are so many elements that you have to consider for a project of this size. And if you only focus on 1 or 2, if you only had gone through the Exhibit 12, this is the ridership, this is the solution, you're dead. You cannot do that. In your daily life, you know that you cannot do that. You have to consider all the relevant elements. The importance of the interest groups. What happened with the operators, the incumbent operators? Get them on board, but then the second mayor could not manage them, and he had so many problems because of that. Communications with the people, your users. Those are the final destinations of why you're doing this. Then, champion. Who was the champion in phase 3? Sorry? No, I'm not the champion. I'm the presenter now. Moreno, are you sure? No champion. No champion. This, the existence or not existence of a champion is sometimes so much more important than if you have or you don't have a good project. And most of you are saying yes because you've seen that in your... I'll go to that now, exactly now. That's in my script. So what happened? And with this we wrap up. Moreno won the elections. Garzón did not take a decision. Moreno, now that he was mayor, actually did not take the decision either at that moment, but rather said, let's go for a metro for Bogota. But the discussion of what to do in Avenida Septima continues today.
Not decided.
Not decided. So what are the options that they're thinking? They want to put hybrid buses in Avenida Septima that will start from a new, so the other two corridors were done. So the buses will go in that corridor and then continue to Avenida Septima just like it is today.
Elevated corridor.
Sorry?
Elevated
No. Yeah, but in the other one, in Avenida Septima, they will leave it just as it is, no physical intervention yet. They will take out the old buses. They will put the hybrids. That's the plan. And they are going for a metro for Bogota, but the exact place where it will go in Avenida Septima still not decided. So, thank you very much. You've been a great group. Thank you.